Well, we were told by the left for, I don't know, a year and a half that Trump was racist. That's the one thing you knew about him. He's racist. And not a single non-white voter would ever support him because that would be insane. But it turns out that Trump had more than double the support from African-American voters than Mitt Romney did in 2012. Not a ton, but double. How did he pull that off? Here now is one of those voters, Justin McClinton, who wrote a really interesting and nice piece on that recently, I think in the Federalist. Justin, it's great to see you tonight. Why did you vote for Donald Trump?
So the main reason I decided to vote for Donald Trump was really mostly based on policy. You know, I kind of zoned out the media. I kind of quickly realized that, hey, we're in an echo chamber. People are saying some pretty ridiculous stuff. So I said, where are the tomes? Where can I really get the information about each candidate's policy? So I went to the websites, and I liked the things that I read on Donald Trump's website a bit better than on Hillary's.
So what did you like? I mean, what jumped out at you?
So what jumped out at me in particular was Trump's policies on education, and particularly being in favor of school choice. So, you know, the first thing that, you know, comes up under that particular part of the site is him talking about how he's going to, you know, support the school choice effort. I worked in a charter school myself on the south side of Chicago, and while I didn't agree with everything they were doing, I really thought they were doing some, you know, some other good things for the students. So, you know, that was really my biggest thing, you know, that charter school support, and I think Betsy DeVos is going to be a, you know, a pretty good education secretary, and I'm hoping they continue to go along those lines.
What's so interesting is if you look, just to get onto the school choice question for a second, if you look at support among African Americans for school choice, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's over 75% in the last poll that I saw. And yet the NAACP, which purports to speak for all African Americans, recently came out against it. There seems to be a massive disconnect between African American voters and their purported leaders on that question. Why?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you see that kind of disconnect between the organizations, and I don't know what kind of goes on at the head. I mean, there was actually a prominent Black Lives Matter leader in St. Paul, Minnesota, I want to say, who prior to joining the organization, he was actually, he worked in education, and he had noticed that in his community in particular, that the charter school had, you know, they had been doing some really good things for the youth, and, you know, for that he had to kind of distance himself from the organization, and it's unfortunate, but, you know, those organizations don't always represent everyone's opinion, and, you know.
So agree or not on school choice or any of the other slate of issues, you're looking at this in terms of what Trump is saying he will do rather than through the lens of identity politics. And that makes you very different from most voters your age, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about American issues and the issues that I believe in particular. And I try to vote with my head, and I'm, you know, just try to be informed about things. And like I said, I like the policies that I saw on the website.
So you had this really interesting, I'm not exactly sure what this means, but you had this really interesting line in your piece that jumped out at me. You said you went to a majority black high school and a majority black college, and then you wound up at a college that was majority white, and you said that was the really politically intense and troubling experience to you. And you said, quote, "A great benefit of racial homogeneity is allowing for students to pursue educational goals unimpeded by identity politics." What does that mean exactly?
You know, so while I was at Morehouse, the really intelligent young women at Spelman would often, you know, kind of challenge me on certain positions just when we were having debates on campus. But, you know, you could have a debate without feeling, you know, pressured not to hide your true opinions. And, you know, and at the schools, you know, it was really just a big focus on, hey, getting your work done and making sure you're learning and getting everything you're supposed to get from a college environment. Well, I feel like, you know, at the graduate school I attend, which is a pretty large university in California, you know, there's just a lot of fear, and people, you know, it feels like they can't have those conversations that I thought were so influential and crucial to my college experience. And, you know, it kind of saddens me a little bit that, you know, they had some Trump chalkings, and that's kind of seen as, you know, a bit of an attack. And it's like, it's something, you know, for me, I kind of see it like, hey, if people could have open conversations about why they might, you know, be interested in voting for Trump or why they like some of his policies, then maybe we wouldn't have this kind of back and forth where it feels like it's, you know, people attacking each other and causing all this discomfort.
So if you're a member of the group, you're assumed to be supporting a specific party line, and if you don't, you're attacked. We've seen this before. Justin, thanks a lot for joining us. That was really interesting. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.